Let's run. What a run. That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen.
Receivers, and this time he lost one and it's picked off.
And Brady and Moss hook up great football players, showing why they're great.
He's got it. 20, 10. He's got it. End zone. Touchdown Titans.
Well, good evening on a Wednesday night. Welcome to all you fantasy guys, all you trolls, and all you friends and family. Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you. This was a day from hell today. Woo! Not only am I working 110 miles away from the house, so it takes a while to get back and forth, right? So tonight I'm on the way back. I tell the foreman, I said, look, dude, I gotta get out of here at like 4:00. It's podcast night and I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Take off, get going up I-75, get north of Tampa. Boom, traffic dead stop. Listen to the radio, says, hey, got a helicopter just landed on I-75, northbound lanes are closed. I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh my God. So I start looking a way around. I start going around. The way around is longer than the way going up 75. Long story short, I'm running late. And here we are. But it's Wednesday night. It's Super Bowl week. We got fantasy leagues starting, redrafts. We got dynasties coming and going. We got all these orphans everybody's dealing with. I mean, I got people banging me up like, oh, Jimbo's, you're like the orphan king. You like taking on orphans. I need some help. Nah. Wow. So a lot happening. I'm going to eat my Mickey D's that the wonderful wife dropped off in the microwave for me on her way to work. We're going to sit here. We're going to chat. I've been hanging out with a buddy of mine that does a lot of betting. He's one of the best guys at picking basketball, to be honest with you. I think Pharrell's best at picking basketball, then hockey. He is a longtime acquaintance, friend. Been spending a lot of time with him lately. He's got a couple shows going on. We're going to talk a little bit more about Pharrell going forward. We're going to talk about some coaches. We're going to talk a little bit about a couple players. We're going to talk about some OCs. We're going to talk about a little bit of the Super Bowl, but not a whole lot because our Saturday show is going to be all about the Super Bowl. We've got a big Super Bowl show going on. And not to add to all the tension or anything, but I'm flying out early morning, 3:00, headed towards Sacramento, gonna unload there. Boom, boom, boom. We got some stuff going on in San Jose. Got some stuff going on in Fresno. Coming to see the boy in Fresno. Little Frito-Lay kick there. And then after that, we're going to see our buddy Trader Scum over in Vegas. We're hanging out in Vegas for the Super Bowl. So we're going to stop by and see Trader Scum. See how he's doing since the last time we seen him when we were in Vegas. And I know they're doing some drafting in their fantasy leagues. Haven't had much invite to all that, but we'll be talking more about them dudes over there at Sudden Death. And a little bit about some new leagues we got going on with some friends of ours that have rescued a few of the Reckless Ted leagues. They saved them. They're dynasties. They're kind of coming into their own. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to promote them, guys, get the word out for them, and go from there. But like always, we're going to start the show off first with our sponsors. We want to thank Premier Properties, Steve and Nikki. We always thank you guys so much. Norm out there on the Freaky Tiki. J.R. Lewis, we want to thank him. And we're getting ready for a big march in the trucking industry with the truck show up in Louisville, Kentucky. We're going to have a booth up in Louisville in March for the Louisville Truck Show up there. There's a lot going on up there. It's going to be really cool. We're going to take the Inner Circle DFS Advisor up there. We got a booth. We're going to hang out with the trucking crowd. Going to talk a little bit of DFS, talking some betting, talking some trucking, and we're going to have some fun up there in Louisville, Kentucky coming up in March. We got some more information on that. And we had another sighting down here this week with, sorry for kissing ass. I don't think the producers got that slide in there yet, but it was funnier than shit. It was an escalator scene. Last week he was trying to figure out how to ride that Harley hog he was trying to board there on the side of the interstate, but we got him coming down an escalator at the Tampa airport. I don't know what maybe he was coming down to see the stadium game with the Lightning and the Bruins. What a game, guys. I don't know if you guys are into hockey. I don't know how many of you guys checked it out, but we had it was really weird. These dudes that were getting ready for this stadium game, for the hockey game, they were worried about temperature. They had an outside shelter built over the ice. They were trying to save it, and guess what? We had record low temps like we talked about last week that everybody was talking about coming. Sure enough, it did. 38 degrees. Wind chills were in the 20s. Gasparilla was going on. It was a freak fest, somewhat like Fantasy Fest down in Key West. But anyways, it was a great, successful weekend. We got a stud for a hockey coach. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. Coop, we love you and everything you do for the Tampa Bay Lightning. It was a great success. We had, high-scoring game. We had lots of action on the ice. The fans kicked out 64,000 plus. It was just a great scene. And even the goalies got into a fight. I mean, so come on. Anyways, it was a great deal. The cold temps, we had extremely cold temperatures last week. And we kicked off all of that on Sunday night with the hockey game. And I'm not kidding you guys. It was so goddamn cold down here. I don't know if you guys know a lot about Florida, but down south, a little bit south from where I'm at, Hernando Beach, kind of down around, starting around Fort Myers, Naples, we got these iguanas. And if you ever go, they like to hang out at Walmarts. They like to hang out, where they can kind of cherry pick some food out of dumpsters and stuff. But they're kind of a tree deal. These iguanas hang out in trees. And guys, when it gets cold down here in Florida, these sumbitches fall out of the sky. I mean, you with the temperatures we had last week, these sumbitches were falling out, laying in the parking lots. It was so bad that the FWC, which is the Florida Wildlife down here, kind of like up north, a conservation officer or a DNR like you got back in Michigan, people that kind of control the hunting and fishing type deal. These sumbitches were paying guys to walk around. Now, when these iguanas fall out of the sky, right? Fall out of the trees. Not out of the sky, but out of the trees. And they hit the ground. They're kind of like sleeping. They're not necessarily dead yet, but their body temperature gets so low that they can't even function. So they just fall into the parking lots. They fall into the streets. They fall on the sidewalks. So many of these cats are just laying around down there dying. Well, these cold temperatures didn't give up, so a lot of them died, right? So the FWC, they put out this great big promotion, this great big thing. Come around and pick up the iguanas laying on the ground, and we'll pay you to do it. Not only will we pay you to go pick up these iguanas, but we'll pay you for them, and we'll help dispose of them. So this is the craziest shit. I mean, check out this one dude. This dude right here, I don't know if here he is. Check this out. This dude, his whole goddamn tailgate is loaded with dead iguanas. He made $1,375 for that load of iguanas on the back of his tailgate. Went around, picked up all these dead iguanas, picked them up, took them over to this little kind of like a waste station where, kind of like where you would take your recycling or your garbage for the week and drop them off. Guy got $1,300. I don't know how many's laying there, probably maybe 50. 50 iguanas, paid him $1,300. Crazy shit. But anyway, so we had cold weather. It was fun. And the hockey game was probably the highlight of the weekend. And Gasparillo was probably highlight number 2. And so we're kind of picking up. We got some drafts starting. Inner Circle is booked. The Inner Circle app is booked. Guys, I can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough after coming from Ballsville and doing my own gig, doing the Tampa media, getting our app put in place, getting the fantasy leagues we got in place. And the response from you guys has been awesome. We have already filled 15 best balls. We filled 3 redrafts. We filled 4 Dynasty Devy leagues. We got 1 Devy league left, and we filled 1, 2, 3, 4. We filled 6 dynasties. Got 2 dynasties left to draft. Regular, dynasty super flexes. But it's just been great, to see the support after leaving Ballsville, after getting backstabbed by Trader Scum and Scooter, and it's just been cool. And so we're having fun. We're getting it going. We had a few hiccups with the DFS Advisor betting paywall, where we pay out the bets. At DFS Advisor, you don't go through somebody else. You don't go through another site to get paid. I pay you. So though we had a little hiccup in that last week, because what happened was the volume crashed it. Well, back in the old days when I wasn't involved in any type of computer thing, I always hear these guys, "Oh, you guys crashed the site. You crashed the site." Well, that's what happened to DFS Advisor. We had so much traffic betting last week on hockey, basketball, and it crashed. So anyway, our guys in the computer room, they got that worked out. It's back up. It's running. Everybody got paid out for last week. It all worked out good. And so we're happy about that. So moving on just a little bit, this was kind of a cool deal this week. This hire right here for the Tampa Bay Bucks is really, really intriguing, guys. This dude, they brought in, Tampa Bay Bucks hired the offensive coordinator, quarterback coach from Indiana. This dude just comes off a championship in Indiana, coaching Mendoza, and the Bucks land this cat as an offensive assistant, quarterback coach. And I don't know how to take this, but I'm excited about it. I mean, seriously, you just win a college football championship, and you think you'd kind of ride that out, maybe stay there. This just tells you a lot about Zach, the new offensive coordinator in Tampa. He obviously knows some people. He obviously knows some talent. And this hire this week, I think, is going to be very good for Baker Mayfield in the wide receiver room. This guy also, a lot of people don't know this, but he is a offensive line stunt guru. Never coached from a standpoint of offensive line, but from what I'm hearing in inner circles in Tampa Bay, since this cat showed up, is he has designed a scheme with the offensive line to facilitate the offensive scheme that we're going to be running down here. So that's kind of cool. And this guy's fresh. He's young. Really, really intrigued by what Jason Light and the Glazers are doing with their coaching hiring. Outside of Todd Bowles, I could give a shit less about Todd Bowles. Speaking of Todd Bowles, we'll talk a little bit about what came out on Radio Row this today, in fact, with Todd Bowles. But anyways, this is an intriguing hire. I'm looking forward to getting on the practice field when OTAs start and hang out with these guys. And I'll get you some more information. Kind of excited about this. We'll see what happens. Just hard to believe after winning a college football championship with Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, probably going to be the number one overall in the NFL draft, and you walk away from Indiana to go to Tampa Bay. Just kind of weird, kind of strange. Looking forward to this hire. I think it's a good one. All right, let's talk a little bit about this one. This is intriguing. All right, Nagy. Kansas City gives this cat up. He's gone. Andy Reid wants to go back to the old way of doing things and rehires the enemy. All right. So here's Matt Nagy sitting out here looking for a job. John Harbaugh. Where? I don't get it. Matt Nagy going to the Giants just blows my mind. This guy has never had any luck coaching quarterbacks, let alone a rookie quarterback, green quarterback. Why this hire happens in Matt Nagy going to the Giants, I don't know how to feel about it. I got a lot of stock in Jackson Dart. I don't know if John Harbaugh had a brain fade because he didn't get his boy. His boy, kind of like biffs him and goes and takes a head coaching job at the Cleveland Browns. But this hire I think is a bad deal for Jackson Dart. And I think it's a bad deal for John Harbaugh. I think it could be a very, very good deal for Scadaboo once he's healthy and is back. I think the running game will be decent if they can shore up some holes they got in the offensive line. But this Matt Nagy hire, I don't know. I got a lot of stock in Jackson Dart. And guys, this is one thing from a fantasy standpoint. Listen to me now for a second. I'm being serious. This just ain't a Jimbo's hot take, a Jimbo's off the cuff thing. Y'all need to really, really listen to me. There has been so many coaching changes, and I'm not just talking about the head coaching changes because you know what? I really don't think the head coaching changes influence fantasy football as much as the offensive coordinators and the defensive coordinators changes affect fantasy football. So what I'm trying to say is, from a fantasy startup situation, guys that are in dynasty and you're into your second and third year, you're kind of stuck, okay? You kind of got to run what you brung. But if you're doing any type of startups, and I don't care if it's redraft, I don't give a shit if it's best ball, but you better, from a dynasty standpoint, figure out and learn about some of these offensive coordinators and their schemes, where they came from, what their tendencies are before you start drafting people. Okay, so what I'm trying to say, and I don't have a slide on it, I don't think. Yeah, that was a time thing. The Mannion hire in Philly, prime example. Okay, so Jalen Hurts, Barkley, the running game, the passing game. Guys, that's taking on a whole different identity in Philly this year with the Mannion hire for OC. Okay, now does the head coach still dabble in calling plays? Maybe first part of the season, maybe, but I doubt it. I think they're really going to turn it over to Mannion. Now, if you look at where Mannion comes from with the McVay thing, the Green Bay thing, the past quarterback thing, I get it all, okay? But seriously, you're hiring Mannion to come in and run your offense. Okay. All right. So let's give the guy the benefit of the doubt. Let's say he's got his shit together. Let's say he's got an idea of what he wants to do. Well, the idea that he really wants to do, guys, is a total upside down, total change from what Philly's been doing for the past couple years. All right. They want to get Jalen Hurts under center. They want to start bringing their tight ends in. They're going to have a ton of motion with their wide receivers pre-snap. They are going to try to push the football passing-wise across the middle of the football field. And they're hoping that their offensive line can get their shit together and that the scheme, and especially getting Jalen Hurts under center versus shotgun, is going to open up the flat, the swings for Barkley. Whether it's running off tackle, whether last year Barkley went downhill versus the phenomenal season he had in 24. In 25, the linebackers in the center of the football field, Barkley had nowhere to go, okay? They are going to try to free up the center of the football field for Barkley from a running standpoint, and they're going to get a lot of pre-snap looks. They're going to disguise a lot of their offense. This is what I'm talking about, guys. When you're drafting in your fantasy leagues, and let's just use Barkley for an example. Let's say, okay, I really like Jalen Hurts. I got a good opportunity to pick up Hurts. Later on, you say, okay, I got a good chance to pick up Barkley, whatever. Before you guys start doing that, and before you make your choices, start looking at, there's been a lot of movement in the NFL coaching world. So sit back, take a breath before you just hit draft and look at what you're drafting from a player standpoint, from a scheme standpoint, offensive coordinator, head coach, and think about what you're doing. Because in past ways, it's like, okay, what worked for this offense last year? Who was their coach? What was their scheme? Who was their offensive coordinator? There has been a big movement in all OCs this year going into 26. So I got a lot of stock in Hurts. I got a little bit of Barkley. This concerns me from a standpoint already. Last year, Philly was like a 2022, 24 offense. Their offensive line is solid. It's seasoned. It's veterans. And they're set in their way. And I just don't know. This is going to create, this offensive scheme that Mannion's bringing in is going to change the way their offensive line works, the way their tight ends work. The days of Goddard getting the receptions he was getting, I think you're going to see go down because the scheme Mannion runs is huge on tight end blocking. It's huge on two tight ends blocking. I think the biggest person to succeed in Philadelphia going into 2026, if the Mannion scheme works, is going to be Devontae Smith And you can go ahead and put him down as the number one because Brown's gone. Okay. I think Devontae Smith and Barkley are going to benefit from this Mannion scheme. Now, does Jalen Hurts benefit from it? Possibly. I think he's going to struggle getting under center because he don't like it. Hurts likes to sit back, take the shotgun, look over the center of the football field, and get a good look. I think the person in this scheme that's going to have to learn the most is the offensive line and Jalen Hurts. I think this screws Jalen Hurts up for the first year. And it pisses me off too because I had an early draft and I have previous year 25 where I got a lot of Jalen Hurts stock. I think he's going to struggle in the beginning. Year one, I think he's going to kind of feel the pain. We'll see. Everybody talks about how savvy Jalen Hurts is with the media and everything, but we're truly going to find out how smart upstairs, how smart Jalen Hurts is. Because in order to take on the Mannion program and the Mannion scheme, he's going to have to get his shit together and really learn the playbook and really get some good footwork and get a presence for what they're trying to do. Everything's going to happen quick. They're going to have a lot of pre-snap movement, and he's going to have to read the defense from under center, and he's not used to doing that, guys. That's all I'm trying to say. So that I'll take that as an extreme. And there's plenty more I could talk about with offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators. But what I'm saying from a fantasy standpoint, instead of just taking a player because you think he's good and because you like him in the past or he's your favorite, if you're really going to compete in fantasy in 2026, learn your offensive coordinators and their schemes, and then decide whether you think that player you're wanting to draft fits into that scheme. So that's all I'm trying to get across there. So enough said about that. And we still have some more offensive coordinators. I really like the head coach that the Cardinals make with Mike LaFleur. I like the kid. I think he comes from a good bloodline, comes from a good coaching tree. I'm so sick of hearing that word coaching tree with McVay. I'm so sick of hearing the coaching tree shit. I bet McVay is so tired of losing good coaches and everything. He's kind of wishing that coaching tree word would just go bye-bye. But anyway, the Cardinals, I think, make a good choice. I'm excited for the Cardinals. Once they get their poop in a group and decide what they're going to do quarterback-wise, if they were smart, I think they rectify their quarterback deal right off the bat. Get rid of Murray, send him on his way, maybe keep Brissett as a backup. He played, pretty good. He's a smart guy. He's a good game manager. But I think the Cardinals need to make a decision on offense at quarterback. Get it out of the way early. Get it done. Go clean, because I think this coaching change is very fresh, very young. I'm excited to see what this Mike LaFleur can do. I think he's going to be a good head coach. Out of a lot of the quarterback or head coach changes, kind of really excited about that one because, his brother's done pretty good up there in Green Bay. His background's pretty good. Got a good head on his shoulders. I'm excited for the Cardinals. I'm not a Cardinals fan by any means. But I'm excited for that kid to take over that head coaching job, and we'll see what happens with that. Moving on. Today, this big story today, guys. Jay Glazer is probably as good as Scheffler and all the rest of the insiders out there, Rapport and all them guys. Jay Glazer, to me, has to work harder at what he does for a lot of reasons. Jay Glazer is respected by a lot of very good professionals, and especially at Fox. And today out on Radio Row, and he said straight up, Crosby ain't coming back. Wow. To me, this just says a couple things. Is either he already made up his mind in 25 at the end of the year, no matter the Genty, no matter the Bowers, no matter the Tom Brady, no matter the possible Mendoza as a first pick, this cat still wants out. Now, that's pretty big. And Glazer even went on to say today, this cat's going to make more money than Micah Parsons. Now, where's a good fit for Crosby? If I had my choice, I'm a Bucs fan. I'd like him to come to the Bucs, but where I'd really like to see him go and where I'd really like to see the tandem work is I would love to see this cat go to Detroit and play the opposite side of Hutchinson. Can you imagine? Can you imagine Max Crosby on one end and Hutch on the other end? Can you imagine being a quarterback going into a game with Crosby on one side and Hutch on the other? And all the freaks they got at linebacker in the middle? I'd love to see this guy go to Detroit. Campbell, tell the old lady up front, get off some cash and go get this guy. I don't care if it takes you 3 first rounds. However, let's go back to reality. A lot of people think he's only worth a first and a second and some money. I honestly think you won't see somebody give up 3 firsts for him, but I do think you will see somebody give up a 26 and a 27 first to get him. So we'll see how it goes. There's a lot of people out there with their predictions. There's a lot of people out there that think they have the insight on where Max is going to end up. I wish the best for Max. I like his story. I'm proud of him for recovering from his addictions. I think this guy's a great pass rusher. I think he's a great football player. I love his mentality, and I hope the best for him. I'm a Raiders fan, and now with Tom Brady in town and things kind of turn around, I wish Max would maybe give it some more time and stay with the Raiders. But that would be kind of my first couple picks. I'd like to see him end up at the Bucs, and I'd like to see him definitely end up at the Detroit Lions. So probably all pipe dream and probably all talk, and probably Crosby's going to settle down and have a great talk with Tom Brady and decide to stay. That's kind of my take. All right. We're going to talk a little bit about this. I know you guys know that I'm, got some acquaintances with Scott Farrell, big radio guy back in the Sirius days. He's probably one of the best radio guys I've ever had time to spend with. Spent some time with him in Vegas. Lisa, my wife, and I used to call into Farrell shows all the time. We ended up having some time with him in Vegas at a boxing match out there. Hung out with him at the D at the casino. Him and Lou and Mafia. We used to have good times. The Profitable TV is an outlet now for Scott Farrell and Mitt. They're all hanging out together doing a show. Scott left the Sports Grid. That was just a total fiasco. I'd love to use all kinds of cussing words to support Scott and why he left there and things that went on there. But what's real funny about it is, guys, no matter how good at you are about something, there's always somebody trying to screw you. Same type of shit I've been battling with all these guys that I've went and helped out, in their leagues and in their businesses that they run from a fantasy standpoint, helping them manage their leagues and do everything. Scott Farrell left. He left the Sports Grid on not their terms, a little bit of his terms, but not good. And so if you guys are big into betting, if you're big into spreads and you're big into, if you're big into the line and you're big into basketball, to me, Scotty is probably the best at doing basketball. His pro basketball, and second, his hockey is some of the best stuff out there. And right now he's doing a deal on X Spaces, which is, the old Twitter, now X. But they have this thing called X Spaces where guys are doing videos, chat room, live, where you can go on. He's on the air looking at you. You're in the chat room, but you can kind of like mic up and he'll interview you and you guys can chat back and forth. Scott does a thing every single night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, and it's fabulous. If you guys know anything about Scott Farrell and his background from picking games, picking spreads, making you money, he now on the profitable TV, they're all about paying for what you get information. But out of the kindness of his heart and the love for what he does, if you will, the love of the game, the love of the atmosphere, the love of the fan, Scott is giving out free picks every goddamn night. He gives you his picks all night long for every single goddamn basketball game, every single hockey game. And it's just amazing what Scott's doing for the fans on his own through this X Spaces thing. So if you are into betting and you're into getting some free information, look him up on the Farrellapalooza every single night, 6:30 Eastern on X Spaces, Farrell, Scott Farrell. If you're looking at wanting to be a man and man up and you're a big time bettor and you bet for money a lot and you want to get some good information, the profitable TV between him and the Prophet is kicking ass and taking names lately with his picks. Now they charge for that, and there's different levels. You can get a monthly, a different elite. Just look it up, and it's great stuff. So again, that's profitable TV. That's Scott Farrell and the Prophet giving out their picks. Those cost money. The Scott Farrell Palooza on X Spaces is free, and Scott don't give a shit. He don't care. He just wants to chat with you guys. He wants to have fun. And, Scott's in your face and tells it how it is. He gave a great analogy on his separation from Sports Grid the other night on air. And I laughed my ass off because I could relate so much with how much I've been getting screwed over by some of these fantasy guys. But anyways, we're recovering from all that. And we will drop in on Trader Scum. Trader Scum's out there. However, they did release some leagues with their sudden death stuff this week. I don't know what all they're doing, but they did release some best ball stuff this week. And like I always do, like I always did, and like I always will continue, even though they bend me over and give it to me in the butt, I will support their sudden death venture. And Trader Scum is probably working real hard. I did hear through the grapevine that they're giving away, some free bonus money. I don't know what all you got to do to hit it. So if you're interested, look up Trader Scum and Scooter over there at Sudden Death. And, I hope the best for them in all the leagues they're running this year. But shout out to Trader Scum. Speaking of that, I was wanting to send a shout out to Scooter, but I don't have his slide up. But anyways, that's because I ran out of time again tonight. Maybe I'll talk about the jersey thing Saturday. All right. A little bit of programming announcement. Saturday's show, guys, is going to be off the charts. We got all kinds of guests. We're going to be talking balls to the wall Super Bowl. We're going to have all the over-under type picks. We're going to be talking Super Bowl Saturday night. That's going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern. Maybe that'll be a great night to bring up Scooter in our friendship of him. I gave him a Pittsburgh Steelers jersey that was after they helped me out in the hurricane, and Scott showed up at the house. It was very heartfelt. It's the first time I'd met Scooter, and I'm sitting here in my wasted house from 5 foot of water in it, and I got a lot of artifacts. I got racing. One-off racing autographs from Richard Petty, Adam Petty, Kyle Petty. I got pictures. I got signed pictures. I got jerseys from Ben Roethlisberger. I got all this stuff. I got Antonio Brown shit signed. I got pictures. I got all that stuff, right? And it's just fucking stuff to me. Because after you lose your house and you go through a lot of things, it's just stuff. It's material and it's just stuff. To me, back then, it was big stuff. But anyway, just to kind of touch on this jersey thing that's kind of gotten under my skin in the last couple of weeks after Scooter and Trader Scum decided to abandon me and not tell me and delete me and pull out of my leagues and pull out of my Discords and do all the shit they've done. I thought I was driving to work the other morning. I said, you know what? Fucking gave Scooter a Ben Roethlisberger Steelers jersey that I attended a Super Bowl with. And I thought, you know what? I'd kind of like to have it back if the guy's got balls enough to mail it to me. And Scooter, you got my address, bro. You know where I live. You could mail it and take the chicken shit way out and mail it to me. Or you could man up and get in your car and drive over here and maybe hand deliver it back to me. Because you know what? I gave that to you as a friend, thinking you were a loyal person and thanking you. But you know what? After it's all said and done, I think you ought to do the right thing and give me my goddamn jersey back, you bitch. But anyways, oh yeah, I called you a bitch just like I did somebody else. Anyways, so that's where that's at. We'll move on. This is kind of a thorn in my side from getting bent over by them guys. Check this out. So this is where Super Bowl 60 lies right now. Seattle is definitely the favorite. They're favored by 4.5. I don't know. Do they cover it? Does it end up being a field goal game? Whew. It could go either way on that spread. I think it could end up being a difference of a field goal in the last few minutes. That 4.5 scares me. On the other hand, I think their defense can, if I look at this from a Seattle's defensive standpoint, I think Seattle covers the 4.5. And they win by 6 or 8 or 9. But on the other hand, I look at it as this could very well be a field goal game. So both these quarterbacks are kind of projected around the same. If you look at the betting yardage for the passing, it kind of shows these guys throwing for the same amount of yards. Okay, well, I can look at that both ways. I could say, okay, definitely with JSN in Seattle, they definitely have the advantage in the passing game. Okay. Now, on the other hand, I don't think Drake May throws for as many yards as Darnold does. Okay. And we'll talk more about that on Saturday night. But if Seattle's defense plays up to their, up to par and keeps it up, I definitely think, in my gut, I feel like Seattle's going to win this game by 8 points, 9 points. I'm going to say 9. I honestly think Seattle wins this game by 9. So I'm good with them covering the 4.5. Now, the money line's a whole different story, and to me, that looks lopsided there. If you're a Seattle fan, you're jumping all over this, right? And you're saying, I'm taking the money line. Now, if you are a New England fan, it's not so bad to jump on this. So from the money line standpoint, if I'm a true New England fan and I'm a believer in Drake May and I really think they're going to get it done, then I'm betting the money line with New England. But I'm not. I'm more of a Seattle side of this. So probably going to stay away from the money line. I don't like it. It makes no money from a Seattle fan standpoint. It's not a fun bet. The over-under on the score, 45.5. And again, guys, this is just this early week, kind of lines on these things. 45.5. It's right there in the middle. Do I think either one of these teams get into the 30s with points? If Sam Darnold has a great game and their defense plays up to par, I don't think it's going to be an over 45. Because if Seattle's defense plays good ball and Darnold is not forced to have to, make things happen, I think this 45.5 don't fly. So I'm taking the under on this game. I just think Seattle's defense is going to come up big. They're just way too good, guys. And Darnold can throw the football. He's on fire right now. Walker's running the ball good. They got good, ball movement, great third down possession. I look for this to go the under. So I'll get more specific with it on Saturday. But that's my kind of front end on just the, the basic lines. Guys, Saturday night show is going to be off the chain. We are going to do all kinds of betting stuff. And we'll see where that goes. We got a ton of guests. It's going to be a fun show. Thanks for being patient with me tonight. I know it was kind of a bullshit show because I was way short on time, no prep time. Work kind of always comes first for me. This is a hobby for me. I don't use it as a substitute for financial gain like Alex does. I don't look to take on a whole lot of fantasy leagues to profit from. I play it for fun. It's a hobby. I play it for the camaraderie, and I love the draft, and I love Debbie, and I love IDP, and I'm a junkie. So it's not about making the money. So it's very secondary in my life, and we're having fun with it. Don't forget about the parodies coming up. We got the 2 parodies coming up. We finished up the Dollsville one. That's a Dollsville with a D. We finished that up, had great reviews actually had a parody company want to pick it up and take it and run with it, and are even willing to pay me for the content. So I got all kinds of things I could tell them to make great content. We got this one dropping, which created a lot of bullshit online, created a lot of trolls to come out. And what was really, really funny about it is it isn't who you think that this is about. These 2 dudes are actually getting parodied out of Tampa, not the 2 scumbags that you think we're talking about. But these 2 dudes are guys that I'm in media group with in Tampa, and we're doing a parody with them. It's going to be really, really fun. They're big into AI. They're AI gurus. Are both in their late 20s. Early 30s, and they are big into AI. In fact, they helped generate this photo to do their own parody, which kind of breaks some hearts of some of the trolls that thought it was about them. Get over your ego, guys. It ain't about you. And then this one here is more trending towards the Burton Ernie. Yeah. Anyways, you all know where I'm going with this one. But anyways, so this one is about the football clowns. So this one's going to drop first. We're going to stay local and do this one about some of the fun guys in Tampa that I do a lot of media and radio stuff with down in Tampa. It's going to be fun. And then, of course, this one we're going to do right around the NFL draft, and probably going to do this one. This will air probably right around the combine. I'm going to be going to the combine, and this is going to be a fun one. So anyways, enjoy the parodies, guys. Again, thanks to all the guys on the app. It's been great. You guys have been so supportive with all the leagues. It's been fun. And it's continuing to grow, and we'll have some updates on some of the Reckless Ted leagues that were saved. Some of the guys that took them over and saved those leagues, they're going to be appearing on the show. I don't have any more information other than what we did last week on Saturday that provided a lot of content about what happened at Reckless Ted and the Yoshi situation. So that's kind of out there. Where it goes from here, I have no clue. I'm not in any of those leagues going forward at the moment, other than the ones that were saved by outside guys. And you guys, T-Mill 85, dude, you're doing a great job in taking on these leagues. You've already filled them. You've already got things rolling, and looking forward to that. So even seeing some of the Ballsville guys show up in those leagues, that's kind of cool. Ballsville guys are showing up everywhere. It's kind of unique to see the Ballsville guys kind of getting away from Alex's program over there with Westlax. We'll see how that goes. Now with sudden death, this upsetting with Reckless Ted, maybe that financial situation with Ballsville might be kind of taking a dip in 2026, and won't have that great big rake to put in your pocket. Anyways, good luck, guys, with all your betting. Happy Wednesday, happy Thursday. It's Super Bowl week. Just remember this, guys. If you're going to all these Super Bowl parties this weekend, make sure you guys set up transportation. Don't drive drunk. And I know a lot of you guys are kicking off some of your drafts. And like Jimbo's has always said, don't draft and drink. And we'll see you guys Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Let's have a great show, and we'll see y'all Saturday night. See ya.